Hi guys, this is Power Level Gaming. Just wanted to kind of discuss the Demi-fiend fight in SHIN Megami Tensei V, Vengeance. Um, this is a pretty difficult fight, and a lot of people seem to be struggling with it online. So I just wanted to kind of walk through it and tell you what team I think is the best for taking on this beast. As you can see on screen, here is his uh, Godborn 150 stats, level 150 stats. And so, kind of the things to watch out for are his skills Gaia Rage, which will basically one shot your team. It'll be triggered if your team is fully resistant to physical damage, so you want to keep that in mind when you are prepping your team to face him. And then Chaotic Will, that has a chance to instant kill every member of your team, and it will also reduce your press turns to 2. This seems to trigger approximately every 25% of his health bar that you deal damage to. So you're going to want a way to bounce back from that if you are unlucky and get multiple party members KO'd during the fight. And then this skill Meteoron, he will trigger that at 50% HP, and you can avoid that if you use a sealing gem to seal his abilities the turn that you reduce them below 50% health, and that can be a bit of luck to get to stick on him that turn. But it'll be worth it if you do, because otherwise he'll heal back to full health. And especially if it's your first time fighting him, your stats are probably going to be low enough that that's going to be an issue, and you're going to have MP issues in the fight. So the team that I found was the most successful at taking him on over multiple playthroughs is Shiva as the main tank. And Shiva is basically here to tank physical damage. Obviously, I've done multiple playthroughs, so my stats are maxed out, but they don't need to be maxed out. His innate physical resistance is what you want here, because it will force Demi-fiend to target him with his physical attacks if the rest of your team has null fizz. And so that's probably what you're going to want to do, and invest some vitality incenses into Shiva so that he can tank those hits. And then he's also going to want to use his signature move, Tandava, to keep the opposing team defense broken as much as possible. As on early playthroughs, it's probably going to be difficult to be hitting the DPS benchmarks that you need to hit in order to kill his minions every 3 turns, which you'll need to do to prevent him from using Gaia Rage to wipe your party. The other techniques on him are not as important. Energy Drain's always good, 2 on his off turns. Get some MP back, as Tandava will eat up your MP pretty quickly. He needs to be first in your turn order, so that when you use your Magatsui critical skill, it'll generate you a press turn, because then you're going to want to use Danu to alternate between using Bowl of Hygeia and Matriarch's Love, so that she can heal you over your HP cap, so that way you're less likely to die from Demi-fiend or his party's attacks. And then you're going to want to use Matriarch's Love so that you can remove the debuffs that you're going to be receiving nearly every turn by one of Demi-fiend's minions. And so then really she just needs to alternate those 2 skills throughout the fight to keep everyone topped off on health and to keep cleansing your debuffs. There's not really any point in fully debuffing Demi-fiend, as his minions will cleanse him if he's fully debuffed, and that's why we just want to use Shiva's Tandava to defense break him and defense break the rest of his team. And then if you're buffed, he'll neutralize your buffs. So really just keeping yourself at neutral is about the best you can hope for during the fight. And then really this is the MVP of the fight. Ball is an absolute beast in this fight due to his innate skill, Hammer of Judgment. And so you're going to be getting debuffed almost every turn, and this skill will allow you to get an extra press turn, so you have 5 press turns almost every turn instead of 4, which is going to be absolutely clutch. I gave him these 3 attack skills, Fire, Lightning, and Wind, because that'll let him consistently rotate clearing minions. And so these will be the most helpful skills in defeating those minions. The only one that he isn't really good at getting rid of is Pixie, but I'm going to recommend that you just use the main character to get rid of Pixie when they're on the field. And other than that, Ball's job is just to kill the minions every 3 turns, so that you don't have to worry about getting Gaia Raged and just wiped. And so here's my main character build. Really the most important thing for this fight is that he's going to be able to do damage. So I'm going to recommend the Murakumo with the critical build and the Almighty damage skills to increase his damage. And then the other main skill you're going to want, in case you need it, you may not need it, but Revival Chant will allow you to revive any team member that gets unlucky enough to be chaotic willed back into your team without having to waste any turns on reviving them and then moving them into your team. It just lets you bring them straight back into your lineup. So if someone gets hit by a chaotic will, this will save you some time and help you bounce back a little quicker, which is important since you're having to manage those minions every 3 turns. So basically, you're just going to use Shiva to tank and defense break, Danu to keep your to remove your debuffs and keep your health topped off, Ball to defeat the minions, and then the main character to do any revives that are needed, as well as doing damage to Demi-fiend himself. Some things to note about the Demi-fiend fight are about every 25% of his health he's going to use Chaotic Will. So you could get lucky and have none of them hit, or you could get unlucky and have them hit multiple times and get a game over, and that's just the nature of the fight. The other things to keep in mind are you have to kill a minion every 3 turns, or else he'll use Gaia Rage and it'll wipe your team. And then you also should keep in mind that he will heal himself fully at 50% HP, so use a Seal Gem if you want, or just tank straight through it. The first time I beat him, I just got him to 50% and then fought him all the way down again, and it was fine, but I did have to use some MP items. So hopefully this team will help you, and if you're having trouble with the fight, this is what I think is pretty much as close as you can get to a sure win against him throughout multiple playthroughs and trying different team members. So this is what I would recommend. Hopefully if you're having any trouble, this will get you through the fight, and sometimes you are going to get unlucky and get chaotic willed and get an unlucky game over, but that's just, again, the nature of the fight. So keep trying, keep at it, and you'll get him defeated, and then you'll get the awesome essence, which you can use to give your character full immunities. So good luck, and hopefully you can defeat him in a couple of tries, but it will probably take you a good 45 minutes to beat him the first time, depending on your difficulty level. All right, happy hunting.